All right, what's poppin', guys? So hold on, let me pause this real quick and pull up the thing because that would be important. So hold on, let me be our. All right, so we here, and here we have. They are suspect testing Giratina-o. And, it's a little bit close to April Fool's Day, so we don't know what's going on with that, but it's not April Fool's Day. Shit. What the fuck's going on? I don't know. But, yeah, it could be April Fool's joke, could be serious. We don't know at this point. So, we shall see. Everything looks normal thus far, except it's freaking Giratina-o. That's the problem. That and this is a little bit odd, but being potentially introduced into ORAS-OU. Yeah. So we're gonna dive into this a little bit because this is obviously just something that not many people expected. After Mega Metagross, I think most people expected, I don't know, probably Lando I. I'd say Lando I in here. And, yeah, basically the main thing with this is that this Lando I is really broken right now. So, this checks Lando I. Why can't I talk? I don't know. So we're taking a look at these stats. First of all, let's give a shout out to my boy Finchinator right here. All right, first of all, he says it's an April Fool's joke, but like I said, Lando counter also good Zard Y counter, good Defogger, Keldeo counter, not Pursuit weak, XD, 2 KOs Clefable with Shadow Force, which is something that I didn't think about because I kind of forgot about Shadow Force. I mean, I guess like Ferroclef can kind of deal with it. 2 KOs the whole metagame if it uses like the right 4 moves, which is true. So that's shout out to my boy Finch right there. That's pretty much what that is. So these stats are these are pretty good stats, The big thing for me, I think, is the bulk. Because as a mixed attacker, it's very powerful, but the mon that I think this is really going to be compared to is Aegislash, which is, I'll pull up the other one too. The shield. Alright, so I'll pull them both up. So that we can kind of get a bearing. Because, like, I'm not really arguing one way or another because I really don't know at this point in time. Like, I'm gonna go on the suspect line and make some suspect things, and then I'll leave it at that. So we're just taking a look at it right now. So 4 attacks. My boy says Shadow Force would be a set. You would have to include Shadow Sneak in there because we need to that's that quick priority. You need HP Fire for Ferrothorn. So HP Fire, and then I'm chewing some motherfucking gum right now. Shout out to Trident, by the way, cleaning your teeth. Even though this shit does not clean your teeth and this shit does not curb your hunger. But I was at the gas station and I got 2 packs for $3. So this is probably like the moldy shit from the back that they're trying to get rid of. But that's 36 sticks of gum. Now, granted, the Trident sticks are like half a stick, but yeah, so I don't know. I guess like Draco, I guess, and then would that be the most optimal set? I don't know. But yeah, this pretty much 2 KOs everything: Shadow Force, Shadow Sneak, HP Fire, and Draco. Yeah, that pretty much 2 KOs everything. Has a 4 attacker set. It can also run other things as well. Let me get rid of Shadow Force. It can run Defog, And then Will-O-Wisp with this being Dragon Tail. And that's also a pretty solid set as like a phaser on, you know, balanced teams as well as, you know, stall teams to help with, because it's a good spin blocker, but then it can also clear hazards away. And then it's basically just an annoying Pokemon. So it's the question is that set like better done by Sableye as a spin blocker for, you know, semi-stall to keep hazards away? I think, well, I mean, you can't guarantee that Sableye is gonna be able to get rid of the hazards, which Giratina could come in and defog. And plus it can also phase out with Dragon Tail. And it checks RY, so that's cool. And then I think this is an old set. I don't know how viable this would be, but we put wrist, sleep talk, and then yeah, there's Willow there to give it some recovery, like rest talk, Willow, Dragon Tail, and then Calm Mind, and then I don't know what you would run. Like normally you used to run Dragon Pulse there, but I guess that's not good because fairies are a thing, so I'm not sure what you would run. Actually, I forgot that this gets Aura Sphere. You can run Aura Sphere too. I don't know. Like whenever, like the only time I ever used like the mixed Giratina-O's was like Gen 4 Ubers, because in Gen 5 like you're better off using the utility ones as far as I'm concerned. So like, oh yeah, you do have an Aura Sphere on those. Let me check. Let me go back to the old ones. Right here. You get to see all my fucking teams, by the way. Most of these are garbage. Where's my Ubers? There we go. DPP Ubers. Yeah, HP Fire. I think HP Fire is a little bit better, but you can run Aura Sphere too. And that hits T-Tar, but you have Earthquake to hit T-Tar. But, I mean, Aura Sphere also hits Heatran. I forgot about Heatran. So I guess Charge Beam's a thing too. That's fun. Yeah, so there's that. And then you'd probably just run something like Mix Set, but I don't think Rest Talk CM would be any good anymore. Like, I mean, if you run like Shadow Ball, it could be Clef 1v1, but apparently Shadow Force 2 KOs it, and because Giratina's fat as fuck, like unless Clefable boosts up, like I would imagine that you only take like a third off of it because you have 441 HP just like uninvested. Then you give that shit max 504 HP. That's the ridiculous. In my opinion, that's the ridiculous thing about Giratina-o is the bulk and like the sheer amount of HP that it has, not necessarily the mixed stats. Because I think there was a comment on the thread that said like, why don't we just suspect Aegislash? Because it's very similar to Giratina-o in a lot of ways. Also, I'm gonna get rid of this moveset. This is a bad moveset. Like, I'm just thinking here. But we look at Aegislash right here. It's got a little bit more defense. Not that much though. In fact, Giratina might actually be a little bit bulkier because it has that huge HP stat with Aegislash. Like, even if you give that max HP, that's like, what is that? 324 out of 441. That's like, I want to say 75%, which is, yeah, that's Giratina was really fat. But then we come over to the blade form, and we see 150, 150, and Giratina is only 120, 120. Plus, you have to have the Grisentius Orb, which this gives you a little bit of extra power to your Ghost and Dragon moves, but that means that you don't get to run Life Orb, Aegislash, because it's also really fat, can run like Weakness Policy. I've seen it run Air Balloon, Leftovers, which is one of the big problems for Giratina is that it gets worn down very easily. Like if you get hit by like a random burn or a random toxic, you're gonna get worn down really easily. Which, if this does get in the metagame, I expect, like, this is just me spitballing right here. Toxic Keldeo is going to be the thing. You're going to have your water move, your fighting move, maybe Ice Wind, but you're doing like a third of this anyway because Icy Wind is weak as fuck and like Giratina-o is fat. So like even if you're just like only a little bit of HP, like you're not doing anything to that. And then Toxic. Like that's what I'm expecting. Or maybe just drop like a water move coverage and run Toxic, or drop Icy Wind for Toxic, and then like you can run this to like revenge Lotties and stuff. So that that's the thing right there. But in my opinion, like I don't know, this is kind of like an Aegislash. Like they should like when ORAS started, they should have suspected Aegislash in my opinion. That should have been the first thing that they did before Megaments got quick banned, before Gren got banned. They should have brought Aegislash back down. Whether or not Aegislash would have been fine, I don't know. But that's what they should have done, in my opinion. And before they're suspecting this, they should have brought down Aegislash. The fact that April Fool's theory might be more plausible, like they're saying April Fool's Giratina-o, and then in reality they're just gonna make, oh well, we're doing an April Fool's, but we're gonna suspect Aegislash in reality. That sounds like the most reasonable thing so far. But yeah, this is obviously like a big curveball. But the main thing to this versus Aegislash is that Aegislash gets shat on by Lando I. Let me pull up Lando I right here, because this is the culprit right here. This is the problem. This is the source of all the problems. Let me give this Sheer Force Life Orb. I'm gonna just put Earth Power on there. This dude right here is the source of all the problems. Lando I. And then, of course, there's a couple of other things like Keldeo, Superior, Zardwai, and such that are definitely problems for balance. But this is your main guy right here. So it's basically something on balance that can check these, but that isn't like stagnant. Like it's more of a tank, not a wall. If like you know what I mean by that. Like you can take hits and then you can dish them back. And then on more offensively oriented teams, you're a good spin blocker, you're a good defogger, and then you can wall break really well potentially. But I think that Smogon is under some problems right now. Like they're under like a lot of criticism for the way that they're just like ban happy. In a sense, like I don't really think that they're that ban happy, but that's what most people are thinking. So they're trying to limit their bans and such. So you have a Pokemon like Landorus, which is pretty broken. Like if Lando got suspected today, I would vote to ban it. Like I think that Lando right now is better than it was in Gen. Not really. Not what am I saying? What am I saying? It's not better. I don't know. I think it's just more potent. Well, not like. Well, it's like when Lando got banned, most of the teams were offensive, and in an offensive metagame, like Lando does well, but that's not where it thrives. When it thrives is when the metagame goes towards balance and stall, because like I mean it can have the rock polish set, it has like a U-turn set, it has sets that do well in an offensive metagame, but in an offensive metagame it's just another threat. But when the metagame is more balanced, that's when it's like the scariest. So like what they're trying to do is say, okay, well it's either we ban this or but people are gonna get mad at us, and like we already deal with that, but then we can introduce this, and it's something that not only helps the fat teams from being as fat, but then if you want to use a fat team, like you can use it as well. Like Giratina-o is very dynamic because it's fat and it deals with this, but it also can deal damage as well, so you can use it to get rid of the fat. It's like a lean burger. You know, you eat it and you get a good source of protein, you get a good source of meat right there. You know, you're trimming down the carbs. But if you have too much of it, and then if you have it with some greasy fries and a soda, then you can become fat. So it's like it's fat, but it's also not. It contributes to the fat, but it also gets rid of the fat. Like, if that made any sense, which it doesn't. Like, I'm just speaking off the top of my head. We don't script nothing around here. This is 100% real as shit. But yeah, that's essentially it. You know, do you think this is an April Fool's joke? Do you think that this is real? Do you think that Giratina-o is ban-worthy or not? Because at this point, I really don't know. I think it definitely would be a top mon if it dropped, obviously, because this thing is on the cover of a game. Like, when you on the cover of your own game, you know you good. That's even Blastoise on blue version. Like, that's well, that's my man Blastoise right there. But do you think they should have suspected Aegislash instead? Which is what I think. And I think this is better than Aegislash, definitely, but mainly because of the typing and the fact that it has Levitate. Like, if Giratina-o had Pressure instead of Levitate, then, like, this Pokemon would be a worse Aegislash as far as I'm concerned. But the Levitate and access to defog and all that stuff is what makes it good, in my opinion. And I think the first two sets that I mentioned, like the defog utility set and the 4 attack set, are going to be the two most optimal, in my opinion. But do you think that they should have suspected Aegislash? You know, do you think this is an April Fool's joke? What about Landorus? Do you think Landorus is too good? And do you like whether they're approaching this, rather they're letting more mons come into the metagame and have it almost be Ubers-esque, where there's so many broken threats that your broken threats check your broken threats to create a sense of balance, but not true balance. Like, if you know what I mean by that. Like, if you catch my vibe. Like, do you like that, the way that that metagame is heading towards? Well, I mean, it's been that way, but do you like the way that Smogon's trying to handle it? Or would you prefer to see Landorus I get banned and then have more suspect tests to ban things out of OU rather than suspect tests to have things drop down to OU? So yeah, just leave some comments right there. This probably wasn't a very good thorough video, and you probably heard all about this from other YouTubers, but just speaking straight out of the conscious. And then again, shout out to my boy Finch right there. I have a feeling that he thinks this is broken as fuck. I'm not ready to make judgments yet. I want to ladder with it and just see how it is. Like I said, I think it's very similar to Aegislash, except it checks this, it checks Keldeo, it checks Zard wide. It's basically like Aegislash, but a better typing. But I mean, there's a lot of fairies, and its power level, while it's a lot, I don't think it's that much like more dangerous compared to other things. Like, the main thing for me is how it does as a defensive like tank, and in my opinion, and what it brings to balance, and what it brings to balance, and how well a wall breaks. Is that too much, or is it, like, I don't know. This video's gone way too long, as I'm just sitting here rambling away, you know, doing the do. But yeah, I hope you all enjoy, and leave some comments. I don't get enough comments, so y'all should leave some comments. And later.